All right, everybody. So today's lesson is about creating a box and whisker plot from a given set of data. So I've got a data set right here for you, and we're going to quickly go through each step that you need to create your box and whisker plot. Remember, a box and whisker plot shows the spread of a data and also highlights the median or the center of the data. So here we go. Our first step always when we're dealing with any type of data, whether we're finding mean, median, mode, range, box and whisker plots, any of the stuff that we've talked about, we always order from least to greatest. That just puts everything in order for us, so it's a lot easier to find our median and the other values. Also, if you are not already, I highly recommend pausing this video and taking some notes along with me. So first step, let's do it together. We've got a 1. I'll cross that off. No 2s. We've got a 3. 4. We've got 1 4, 2 4s. So a 4 and a 4. Do we have a 5? No. A 6. We've got 1 6. A 7. Do we have another 7? Got another 7. 8, 1 8. 9 and 9. So we've got 2 9s to finish us off. So step 1, we ordered our data from least to greatest. Now we're going to start looking for those 5 numbers that we talked about and learned about yesterday and on Tuesday. So step 2, we're going to start with our upper extreme and lower extreme. So find upper and lower extremes. And those are just our biggest and our smallest numbers. So that's going to be pretty easy to find now that we have these in order. This is our lower extreme. And this is our upper extreme. So lower extreme is 1, upper extreme is 9. Moving on to step 3. Now we're going to find our median. So number 3, we're finding the median. In order to find the median, I taught you to start from one end, exit off, go to the other end. In this case, I don't really want to mark through my numbers, so I'm just going to put dots above them so that I can still read them for later on. So I'm going to go up here, I'm going to put a little X above 9 and down there. You got to match what you're doing on both sides. So an X up here, X down here, going to go back up. X, X. And you keep doing that until you get to the center. But remember, this only works if you have an even number of X's on both sides. Once I have an even number of X's on both sides, if I'm left with one number in the middle, then that would be my median. But if I have an even number of X's on both sides and I'm left with 2 numbers, that means I have to find the median of these 2 numbers, which I have to find the average. I have to find what goes right here. In order to do that, you need to add both of these numbers up and divide by 2. So 6 plus 7, well, that would give me 13. And then 13 divided by 2 is 6.5. So our median is 6.5. And I'm going to circle that up here. So we found our median, and that was step 3. Step 4, so now we're going to worry about that upper and the lower quartiles. This gets a little tricky if you're not careful. So let's deal with the lower quartile first. So find the lower quartile. Now remember the lower quartile, I told you this in the video from Tuesday, and I mentioned it today briefly. The lower quartile and the upper quartile are the medians of the upper and lower halves of our data. So this is the lower half and this is our upper half. We're looking for the lower quartile first, so we're going to find the median of these numbers, okay? We're only dealing with the number less than the median. You do not include the median of the entire data set when you're looking for your lower quartile, okay? So we're dealing from 1 to 6. We're not going to include 6.5. So we do our x's again because we're just looking for the median. Again, I'm going to put little x's, one at the bottom, one at the top, one at the bottom, one at the top. And here I'm actually left with a perfect median, don't have to look for it at all. 4 ends up being my lower quartile, okay? So we were only dealing with the lower half of our data. Now step 5, if we've found the lower one, now we're looking for the upper quartile. So we're gonna find upper quartile. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're only dealing with 1/2 of our data, not including the median. So we're dealing with the upper half of our data only. We're going to find the median of that just like we did with the lower quartile. I'm going to do one up top, one down bottom, top, bottom. And again, I'm left with a perfect median. So this is going to be my upper quartile. Okay. So now we've got all 5 of our numbers. We've got our lower extreme, our lower quartile, the median, our upper quartile, and our upper extreme. Remember I mentioned in the video that a box and whisker plot is a 5-number summary. So as long as you get your 5 numbers, you can build a box and whisker plot. So step 6, draw your number line. So I'm going to draw that down here. Now you number your number line based on where the data falls. Here it's pretty simple. We go from 1 to 9. So the easiest thing to do is make our number line 1 to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And make sure you label that because remember, as I mentioned yesterday in yesterday's video, the number line is not our data. It's just showing us the data. It's displaying the data for us, okay? So, and then the last, and hopefully in your mind, the easiest thing to do is to actually make the box and whisker plot. So now step 7, draw B and W plot. So the way you do this is you take your 5 numbers and you plot them with a dot above the number on the number line. So our lower extreme is a 1, put a big dot right there. Lower quartile is 4. The median is 6.5. So I'm going to go between 6 and 7 up and make that dot. Our upper quartile is 8. And our upper extreme is 9. So now you have to make the box and the whiskers. The whiskers will always be on the very end, just like that. And then you make a box around the 3 center data points and then make sure you draw a line for your median. And that is how you make a box and whisker plot. It shows you all the data that we collected and that we found on this nice little drawing, pretty much. If you have any questions or didn't understand anything, make sure you rewind, rewatch, whatever you've got to do. Highly recommend you get out a sheet of paper if you didn't and write all these steps down in your notes somewhere or in a notebook. But otherwise, I'm done here, and I'll talk to you guys soon.